What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 2, Episode 9. So, we start this episode off. We have Kimmy going out with her girlfriend from work. Y'all know I forgot her name. But she seemed like a really nice lady. But y'all know I forgot her name. And she said, listen, this is normal. Maurice is upstairs, studying for the bar. The bar is in a week. And, I'm a little stressed out with everything going on. And normally, Tisha is the person that I would call. But after that conversation me and Tisha had, I'm not too sure how I feel about everything. And I'm really just sick of being in the middle of it. And I need to talk to a neutral party who I can vent to. And I feel like this friend, and she's a friend from work, but I feel like she knows enough of the situation that Kimmy doesn't. You have to retell the whole story and tell everything. But she just needs to give her the last couple of installments of the story and just kind of get her point of view on it. And, her friend told her, look, that is their issue. It don't have nothing to do with you. Like, you doing what you can do. You doing the best you can do. You just, you just trying to stay here. You trying to stay neutral in the situation. And that's really the best that you can do. And, basically don't take on their shit. You know what I'm saying? Then, she brought up the Miss Wanda situation. And she basically said the same thing all the rest of us been saying. Like, listen, I don't want to disrespect your mother. I've given your mother not once, but twice to come to me and say what she has to say to me. But it really ain't going to be too many more. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to come at me crazy and sideways. And, I just, I ain't trying to disrespect nobody mama, but I'm a woman too. I'm grown. I'm a grown ass woman. You know what I'm saying? Then we see Letitia going out with her friend. And we met her friend April. I believe it was April at the other event. And, Letitia did that shit that I don't like. You invited her, told her y'all was going to hook up. Y'all were going to work out. And she showed up ready to work out. And you have her at a self-defense class. And she was like, well, I didn't really lie. It's a type of self-defense. It's a type of workout. She said, well, I had to tell her a little white lie to get her there. See, that's the stuff I don't like. And what I would have done is I would have turned around and left. Like, don't do that. Don't play with me. Tell me where we're going. Tell me what we're doing. And let me make my decision about whether this is something I want to do or not. Maybe I've already taken a self-defense class and I don't want to do it again. Maybe I don't care about a self-defense class at all. You know what I mean? Anyway, child, whatever. So they had their little self-defense class and, they were basically talking about how they're going to get April back out there to find her a man. And she was like, I'm good. And she was like, well, no, we need to help you find a man. She was like, no, I'm good. Like I am. Like I'm good. I'm good. I got my kids. I got my work. I got my social stuff. I got my support. I'm good. So Melody goes to see the therapist. I like the therapist, And basically what he gets her to understand is, because Melody was like, I was always the good kid. I always did. She said, Martell is worried about me doing too much and trying to juggle all these things. But this is who I've always been. When I was a kid, I, was on, I was in praise and worship. I played, the keyboard for the church. I was a straight A student. I had a job. I was in this organization, that organization. I wasn't just in these organizations. I was the president of these organizations. So for me having, 4 kids and this and this and that, this is always who I've been. And so I'm used to it. It's not a big deal for me. And then, he said to her, listen, what about the family situation? And so, he got her to understand that maybe she was doing all these things to try and impress her father. And she didn't accept that. She said, no, I don't feel like I was trying to impress my father, but I do think a part of you was because your father rejected you. And she talked about the fact that her mother used to make her call her father and her father would never answer the phone for her. And she said she didn't even have a relationship with her dad until she was 16. And, but I do think a part of her was, whether it was subconscious or not, was kind of like sending a message to the dad, like, look at me. Like, look at me. I'm worthy. I'm a good kid. I'm doing all these great things and I'm worthy. The other couple of things that I think I don't know if Melody because I didn't think Melody got it. Because when he was trying to swing it back around, Melody got up and left and was like, I'm done crying for the day. I'm done. And I was like, she ain't even hearing it. She not getting it. But she got it. She didn't get all of it, but she got that part. But the part that he was trying to swing back around to her was, this is sort of how you and Martell got what y'all got the first time. You were doing so much. You were out here doing this, and doing that and the other. And he wasn't feeling appreciated. The other thing he said was, you're doing all these great things now. And yes, you're juggling and you're super mom and you out here, running the world. But what are your kids going to say when they're older? Are they going to say, hey, my mom did some really great things in her life, but she wasn't really around a lot. And that's when she got up and was like, I can't do this today. I hope you heard that part, Mel, because that's valid. And you're going to have to find the balance. No one is going to begrudge you wanting to have a career and wanting to be every woman and wanting to do all these wonderful things, especially since you now have an opportunity where these things are being offered to you. But you're going to have to find a balance. Even, you and Martell are going through the divorce, fine. He's no longer a factor. It's not about him. It's about those kids. You're going to have to find a balance. And she may be now, whatever. So, but I thought it was a really good session. And again, I hope she got something out of it. I do. So then we see her and Martell having a conversation. And I'm not doing this. It's the same damn conversation they done had for the last 4 weeks about her not being there. Him saying, listen, you're not around, you're not doing these things, and him telling her, look, why don't you focus on this and focus on that? Why do you have to do everything? And it's the same damn conversation. I ain't about to sit here and keep going. It's the same shit. And I feel like they just building us up to the inevitable, which is what we all know, that she filed for divorce. So, okay, fine, whatever, child, whatever. Then we have Kimmy's event that we saw her speaking about a couple of episodes ago with the Get Out the Vote. It's definitely a great thing. I'm here for it. I'm glad that she was able to organize people. It looked like she had, the core group that's on the show, but she also had some other people outside of that. Letitia shows up in heels, and Kimmy was like, why are you in heels? Because we about to go and knock on doors. We about to walk through the neighborhood. And Letitia was like, I didn't know that. And then she gonna turn to Marcel talking about something. Did you know that? Marcel was like, yeah, I knew. She was like, oh, well, I must have just forgot that part of the conversation. See, Letitia, you do that same bullshit that I don't like. Instead of saying, you know what? My bad. Damn, I fucked up. What? Martell calls and says, listen, I'm not coming. I can't be around Marcel. He filed that police report against me, and I'm just not trying to be around him. I see both sides of this coin. As much as y'all know, I don't see it for Martell. I ain't really here for Martell like that. But I definitely see both sides of that coin. And what I mean by that is this. He filed a police report against you. Now, he didn't follow up and get a restraining order. And he didn't do all of that. But on the flip side, it's like, well, if you really feel threatened by me and you really feel like I could possibly hurt you, why do I need to be around you? Now, we know he went to the birthday party and all those other things, but, a part of me is like, I see it from Martell's point of view. The other part of it is, stop it. Stop it. But I definitely see it from both sides. Anyway, they end up going out, and Melody rides with Kimmy and Maurice, and Letitia and Marceau are together. And they end up having a conversation about why Martell is not there. And Melody says, listen, well, after the police report and everything, Martell just doesn't feel comfortable, and I'm not going to make him come somewhere like this, but I'm here, to represent, to support, or whatever. And Maurice tries to defend the situation and make it, he didn't follow up. He didn't go to the magistrate. He didn't do all of that. And, again, y'all, I'm with Melody. Melody was like, well, I tell you what, you weren't there. You're not the one that filed the police report, and I'm having a really good ride with y'all, so I just don't want to talk about this anymore. Before it turns into something. And I can respect that, because at the end of the day, she said what she said. She explained why he didn't want to come. There really isn't much more to talk about. Like, there's nothing else. Like, what else you going to, like, there's no other conversation to have about it. So they end up going out and walking, doing their they're knocking on doors and getting people to vote. And I thought that was really great. It was a really, really, really great thing that they were doing. And then Kimmy decides that she's going to pull Miss Wanda aside and had the conversation with Miss Wanda about basically making sure that they good. So she thanked Miss Wanda, and Miss Wanda was like, "You welcome." And then they end up having a conversation, which I felt was just, I don't know. It was, I don't know. Kimmy thanked her. Miss Wanda said, "You're welcome." She said, "I'll do anything for you, Kimmy. I'll be here for you." And Kimmy was like, "Well, I don't know, because, I thought I wasn't sure where we stood, with what's going on." And then Miss Wanda, and from there, the conversation sort of deteriorated, I feel like. At that point, they started getting into, basically, well, I just didn't like that. I felt like, basically what Miss Wanda was saying was, I felt like you and Melody was over there whispering about my child, and that's why I felt like I need to come through there, and I didn't appreciate it, and that's why I felt like you being fake and two-faced, because you was talking shit at my daughter's event about my daughter, and I'm not gonna have you doing that. And Kimmy was like, "But we weren't, like we weren't talking about your daughter at all. Like, we weren't." And she said, "Well, that's how I felt, and that's why I said, and I'm going to always defend my daughter." So from that point of view, if that's what you felt, then okay, I understand that's what you felt, but what made you feel like that? Like, there was nothing that happened to make you feel like they were over there talking about Letitia. Like, girl, anyway. Then, but no, Miss Wanda, that ain't what it was. Because that was some bull. You just did what you did. You felt the way you felt. Then we had a conversation between Melody and Letitia. Now, okay, y'all know I've been with Melody all last week. I had Melody's back, and through most of this episode, I was with Melody. But on this one, Melody, you was putting 20 on 10. Y'all, we're talking about Martell not being there or whatever, and Letitia said, "Well, that's the guys' stuff. I'm going to let the guys handle it." And that should have been the end of the conversation. But no, you were trying to make a scene, and so you kept talking, which created a situation where Letitia kept talking, and then Letitia felt like she had to defend her husband. Now, on that one, that wasn't on Letitia, that was you. Because when Letitia said, "Well, that's the guys, let the guys handle it," you kept talking. You were like, "Well, I mean, why would Martell want to be around somebody? I mean, if he felt threatened, why would he come? Why was he here?" And Letitia said, "Well, Marceau has never done anything to make you feel unsafe. Like, Martell threatened Marceau." And then Melody gonna say, "Well, I thought we were gonna leave the guys out of it, Letitia. You said leave them out of it. Let's stay out of it. That's between the guys." And I'm like, "But you the one that kept the conversation going." So anyway, Letitia and Melody sort of, then they started having a little tiff, because, Letitia was like, "Well, I'm glad that, we're working on our, they hasn't, our relationship, and what they got going on isn't coming in between us." And she's talking about something yet. See, Melody, that's on you. That was on you. Now, again, I don't disagree with Martell's reason for not being there. Okay? I don't disagree with that. But you were the one that kept that conversation going, that put Letitia in a position that she felt like she had to defend her husband. Now, this is what I wish y'all would do. Okay? And not just for the purposes of the conversation. I mean, for the show. But just in general. If y'all have something on Marceau, just tell that woman. Just give her the information, the screenshot, the video, the text messages, whatever. Stop throwing out these innuendos. Because then this whole thing came up with, "Well, you mean to tell me Marceau has never lied to you?" Letitia was like, "No, he's never lied to me." Melody was like, "For real, girl." And she's got that smirk on her face like she does, and she does that little laugh, that condescending laugh that she likes to do. Girl, either you're going to tell this woman what Marceau out here doing, or you're not. Of course Letitia has caught Marceau on a lie. They've been married for 13 years. Hell, I'd have caught Marceau on a lie, and I only been watching the show for 2 years. Of course you've caught him in a lie. But she not getting ready to sit there and give you that satisfaction. But now if you got something you want to say, and she said, "Well, I've caught him in multiple lies." And Letitia was like, "Well, tell me what." She said, "I mean, if you've caught him in multiple lies, just tell me what the lie is." And she was like, Letitia, whatever. Listen, either you're going to tell her or you're not. But all of this, I'm with her on this one. Like, either you're going to tell me or you're not. All this back and forth, like, I can't. I'm not. I don't. So, then we have Melody. And again, a lot of things. I've looked at a lot of reviews. A lot of reviewers, we felt the same way at the beginning of the season when we met her brother and we started hearing about her daddy. We felt a certain way. And this conversation with her sister sort of confirmed some things, y'all. You start doing some math and started putting some things together. So we see her sister who we hadn't met prior to. We met her brother. And the sister is, of course, from her father, Melody's father's marriage or other relationships. And what we find out is that her and her sister have never really been close, and that they were being real nice and talking real sweet. But what it sounds like is they had a very contentious relationship, that they had a very probably even nasty relationship. And Melody said, well, I felt like, and the sister was like, well, it was really hard. She said, first of all, when I found out about you, see, that's the first trigger. When I found out about you, she said, I was actually in the process of trying to get off of drugs. So I really didn't have the energy at that time to try to get to know a new sibling. And Melody was like, yeah, because she said, I didn't know about you until you were 19 years old. Now, let's look at this. Melody said in her therapy session that she didn't really get to know her dad until she was 16. So at 16, she started building a relationship with her dad. But it wasn't until she was 19 that she met her other siblings. That doesn't sound like Melody that they... What that sound like to y'all? Then Melody said something about, you remember you made a gift for me and you made me some earrings, some AKA earrings. Now, I don't know what her situation is. I don't know what the things are down there, but that had to have been around the time. Like, if Melody pledged her sophomore year, if she went to college at 17, she pledged her sophomore year. All of that was around the same time when she pledged AKA and all that good stuff. If she pledged her sophomore year, age-wise. So then Melody said, yeah, and by the time you kind of wanted to have a relationship with me, then I was really busy and I didn't have time. And basically Melody was like, and I wasn't checking for you. And then she said, yeah, because my feelings were a little hurt that the only person you invited to the baby shower was Marcus. Because remember, the brother. Now, we're talking recently here, right? We're talking about the baby that she's holding in this scene. That's an infant that's only a couple of months old. And she said, well, I apologize for that. And, it wasn't with any malice. I didn't think y'all was really checking for me like that. So Marcus is the only person that I have a relationship with. So that's who I invited. And so, Melody said that she did realize that she is gonna work on her relationship with her family, her other siblings, and try to, do a better job with that. But yeah, this is some recent shit. You know what I mean? Like, she said she felt some kind of way that she wasn't invited to the baby shower. That's within a couple of months of this. So it sort of confirms a lot of stuff that was said. Y'all know what I'm saying? And speculated about. Y'all feel me? So I don't know. It was what it was. But I'm glad to see that Melody is trying to build a relationship with her and that she's open to a relationship as well. The sins of the parents don't have nothing to do with the kids. So, I'm glad that at this point, y'all are still trying to figure out a way to still be cool. Last but not least, we have Letitia. She's home with the kids because Marceau is he's traveling. He's in Texas on business. And she calls up April because she said, listen, me and Marceau had a conversation the other day. And it didn't sit real well with me. And Marceau said that he feels alone. And she's talking to April. And April said, listen. Because April's the one that just going through a divorce. She said, listen, my husband said that to me. And when we were going through our separation, he said, I tried to tell you. When we were starting to have problems and I was starting to feel alone and feel by myself, I tried to tell you. And she told it she said, listen, he's giving you hints. He's telling you how he's feeling. And you need to take heed to that before you end up where I end up, basically. She said, I had my kids and I had my sorority and I had my business and I had this. And I was so busy running around that I didn't even listen to him. And even when we were going through our separation and he said, I tried to tell you. And she was like, I don't remember. He was like, yeah, because you weren't listening. You couldn't hear me. And she said, so if Marceau is he's telling you and you need to take heed to that. And Letitia was like, I know those are the kinds of things that guys say before they start cheating. Anyway. And so I don't know. Letitia, better take heed to it. You better take heed to it. So anyway, that was the episode. It is what it is. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.